Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute wild ride that is modern at-home fitness. If you've ever unrolled a yoga mat in your living room, you already know it's a journey of extremes. We're going to break down this incredible transition from the intense, mathematically driven cardio grind right into the deeply emotional, lyrical release of mobility stretches. It's literally the anatomy of tension and release.
So, let's look at this comparison. We're examining two starkly different routines from our source material that perfectly represent the two essential halves of a complete workout. On one hand, you've got the robotic, rigorous physical push defined by that classic phrase, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. But contrasted directly against that, you have this atmospheric, lyrical release perfectly captured by the lyric, wash away the pain. We're not just talking about different exercises here, we're talking about completely different psychological spaces.
Phase 1. Building the physical tension. Drawn from Roberta's gym.
What's really wild here is the absolute lack of emotion in the instruction. The entire workout is dictated by these relentless drill sergeant-like commands. You just hear, up next, slow burpees in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. No motivational pep talks, absolutely zero room for distraction. Just an immediate, unavoidable countdown to your next move.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the architecture of high-intensity tension. The structure is basically an absolute unbroken loop. Think about it. Step 1, you get a command. Step 2, a rapid 5-second countdown. Step 3, the totally robotic counting of your repetitions. And then Step 4, a super brief, abrupt rest time declaration before the whole cycle immediately fires up again. It creates this psychological environment of pure obedience. You don't even have time to think. You just do.
Just look at the sheer variety of physical demands placed on the body during this sequence. We're talking rapidly cycling through everything from jumping jacks and slow burpees, all the way to mountain climbers and ski hops. One moment you're doing lateral arm circles, the very next you're down for a plank. And then bam, right back up for squat and kicks. The body is constantly kept guessing, but your mind? Your mind is kept completely tethered to that unyielding numerical countdown. Now, the crucial point is how this mathematical grind scales up. The physical tension hits its absolute peak when the counting stretches all the way to 40 reps. Specifically, during the running in place segment, the voice just relentlessly counts by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, literally all the way to 40. It's pushing cardiovascular endurance to its absolute max, relying entirely on raw numbers to just force you through the physical burn.
But then, something kind of funny happens. We catch this tiny glimpse of humanity in the machine. Right in the middle of this intensely robotic numerical sequence of meet-up crunches and tricep dips, the voice suddenly drops a "bring the beat back" right between counts 12 and 13. It's this incredibly brief, singular moment of musicality, like a tiny psychological carrot dangled right in front of you to help you push through the excruciating burn of those crunches.
And then, just as abruptly as the whole thing began, the physical tension phase wraps up with a definitive, almost mechanical sign-off. You have successfully completed the workout. Good job. That's the whole shebang. No fanfare, no emotional high five, just a strictly data-driven confirmation that the task is done. The physical debt has been paid.
Moving on to Phase 2, transitioning to the full stretch, featuring growing ananas.
Now we pivot completely away from those strict metrics into the exact opposite. The robotic counting, it completely vanishes. This mobility stretch is focused on flexibility and recovery. And what's so fascinating is how the audio environment radically changes to support that. Instead of a voice barking at you to do mountain climbers, you're guided by a fluid sequence that relies entirely on a soundtrack of love, youth, and emotional release. The music literally dictates the pace of your breathing and the depth of your stretch.
Interestingly, the stretch kicks off with this upbeat, somewhat angsty pop-punk energy. As you're starting to loosen up those tight muscles, you're listening to lyrics telling a story about rebellious youth, kissing someone just because you wanted to, and worried parents waiting up till 2 a.m. It's actually a highly active emotional state which provides a little bit of residual tension to perfectly match the start of your physical cooldown.
But pay attention to how the lyrics evolve as the stretching deepens. The tone shifts perfectly to mirror your physical recovery. The music slows down and delivers lyrics emphasizing there's a new day to wash away the pain, and washing out the old ways with the rain. The tension is literally melting out of your muscles, totally synchronized with a soundtrack that is verbally washing away your sorrow.
Notice the incredible contrast illustrated here.
While the first routine demanded strict physical obedience through numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this cooldown offers a deep emotional catharsis. You go from listening to a literal countdown timer to listening to someone saying, "I will keep loving you as long as my heart's beating." The shift from the hyper-physical to the hyper-emotional is just absolutely stunning. So, the mental landscape during this 15-minute stretch covers a massive amount of emotional ground. You are physically repairing muscles, sure, but psychologically, you're traveling all the way from teenage angst and making mistakes to holding on through the night straight into promises of lifelong romantic commitment and wanting to grow old together. It turns a simple everyday stretch into this absolute sanctuary of mindfulness.
By the very end of the mobility routine, the atmosphere becomes incredibly tender and nostalgic. You hear these lyrics like kids in the bathroom dancing on light with our stomach full butterflies. It offers a complete, total psychological release from the intense, rigid stress you faced at the very start of the workout. Your heart rate is finally down and your mind is completely elsewhere.
Which brings us to our final section, finding your fitness balance. Pulling back a bit, this explainer highlights how modern home fitness isn't just about moving your body. It's a carefully curated psychological journey. On one side of this breakdown, you have raw data, robotic countdowns, and extreme physical tension. That rigid framework breaks down your muscles, but it funnels perfectly into the human element on the other side: flexibility, emotional pop songs, and mental restoration. You almost need the absolute rigidity of the numbers to truly appreciate the freedom of the music.
As we wrap up this explainer on the crazy duality of home workouts, I want to leave you with a provocative thought for your next living room session. Think about your own habits and your own limits. What truly pushes you further? Is it the rigid discipline of the final countdown, or the emotional release of the perfect song? Keep that in mind the next time you hit play. Thanks for hanging out with me today.